Hey everybody, I wanted to do a quick video on the progression at the St. Albans location in West Virginia. I was pretty hesitant to do this video at first, but I think it's too important of a topic to not share with the rest of the system given the results that we've had. And I think it can help literally everybody in our system, whether you're a brand new store or have been open a couple of years. And so this is probably the most in depth that we've looked at a difference between someone running the store the way that they want to run it versus running the store the way that the corporate stores are run. And it's a pretty pointed example because the variables are controlled for. So, just to get into it real quick, we track our numbers on a weekly basis. And so, we track all of the stores on a weekly basis from week 1 through week 52. We are in week 27 right now. Week 26 represents the week of the 20. It was the 24th through the 30th. All right, and as a team, we sat down and went through these numbers, and on a weekly basis, we look at them and see, okay, what are the trends? Who needs help? Who needs extra attention? What's going on here? We have different levels of color that we use on our master sheet that contains all the stores. Anything under 50 cars a week, we highlight red. Anything that is between 51 and 59 is a lower shade of red. And then anything above 100 is a bright green. Anything 90 through 99 is a light green. So just for your own purposes watching this video. The different categories we have here is what week it is, the store that it is, the car count, gross sales, discounts, total sales, ticket average, and discount as a percentage of sales. Ironically enough, this was a David statistic that I didn't really care for. I don't really care what our discounts are as a percentage of the sales, especially when a store is in growth mode. And so around the time that I took over, the time that I bought Michael out and moved on from David is about the time we stopped tracking this number. So that being said, there's a couple things here to look at. The transition of taking over St. Albans happened right around the same time that I was buying out the shareholders from the franchisor. And that happened in week 23, which I believe was that first week of June is when I sent Brett out to do it. The important thing to remember when looking at these numbers is the staff stayed the same, the location stayed the same, the demographics stayed the same, the marketing for the banners, the physical marketing of the store, signage, that all stayed the same. The one thing that changed between week 22 and week 23 is we boosted a Facebook post. There's a video that we're going to put out later today on how to target and how to geofence and what those things mean. But for right now, we're going to talk about what we did in terms of how we got from week 22 to week 23. For all intents and purposes, St. Albans, West Virginia is a declining town in population. Year over year, population is getting lower. The 3-mile radius for the address is less than 20,000 people. I believe if you include Charleston, West Virginia, which is a completely different market, it then gets up to 50 or so. We decided that first month we're going to run a $35 oil change special. We bumped it up to 37 this month, and the numbers have been astounding. Let's go through the numbers real quick. Car count obviously is our main KPI. Why is car count our main KPI? What is so important about car count? A car being in the store gives you an at-bat. It gives you an at-bat to sell the customer your professionalism. It gives you an at-bat to sell your service. It gives you an at-bat to sell other products. Doesn't matter if your ticket average is $75 a car if you're only doing a handful of cars, because I can have an oil change ticket average of $50, but if I'm selling a $20 Lucas 6 times a day and I'm selling a $20 air filter 6 times a day, then all of a sudden we're talking about a whole different ball game as it accounts to total sales versus gross sales. Gross sales represents the number that would come in through the till had you not taken any discounts, not taken any coupons. So gross sales to me is still an important number because it represents the capability of the store, the future potential of the store. Your discounts are your discounts. Your total sales is the number that came through to the bank. That number is important because cash is king. Getting sales is the most important thing you can do. And the amount of money that goes through to your bank account is your lifeblood. Ticket average is self-explanatory, and discounts is a percentage of sales. So let's dive into the numbers a bit. In week 8, the St. Albans store had its high. Now, let me paint a picture here. The St. Albans store was still in ramp up, but it was also older than a year. So I think it might have even hit its 2-year anniversary, I believe. And so still in ramp, but not necessarily a brand new store. That's an important part here because it kind of shows that you can eliminate some of the variable excuses, such as it's a declining town, my staff is bad, et cetera, et cetera. So let's take a look at this. At 72 cars, which was not their best week car count wise, was the total sales were 5,600. That translates to about 290,000. Let's just round it up to $300,000 a year. If every single week was the best week, if all 52 weeks were the best week, it's a $300,000 a year store. Let's go down to week 15. They had their all-time high 79 cars. That translated to 4,600. I'm assuming at this point there was some kind of discount run because that was also the highest amount of discounts that were ever done to date as well. Clearly drove cars into the store. But then I believe it was at this point that the Brits had started to have a foot out the door with some personal reasons for wanting to exit the system. As you can see, the car count started going down a little bit. And just on that note, the Brits very well liked franchisees, very vocal in Slack, very well known. They had personal reasons for leaving the system. Per the lease with Peter Colvin, we were required to step in. I keep the St. Albans I was happy to take over because one, it's in our core footprint. Two, it's our first new construction. I keep a canvas of it right up there on my wall. I think Brandon has the same canvas in his office as well. It's an important store to us, so we took it very seriously. We took over week 23. That's that week of the 24th through the 30th. We boosted a post. We're in customer acquisition mode. I treated St. Albans the same way that I treat every new store that we open. For 9 months, we're going to go after as many customers as we can because we want those at-bats. The at-bat gives you the opportunity to show how we are different, to steal those customers from our other competitors. And once they realize that, and we start not having the specials, and we start doing just regular $10 off coupons, $20 off coupons, and we get out of that mode of just bare bones pricing oil change, and we're still $20 lower than the Strickland Brothers of Dunbar. We're still $20 lower than the Strickland Brothers of St. Albans. We're still $20 and $30 lower than Valvoline. Then those people are more than happy to pay full price with a little bit of a coupon, $10, $15 here and there. But these at-bats in the early days are what's going. People often ask me, how did Northford Sales get to be a 400 car a week store? How did they have an 80 car day? Right? It's this right here. It's the building of the customer base. If what you care about more than anything else is building car count, this is the most important video that I can make, is this example, because no variables changed. I want to talk about the staff for a second. The manager, Don, haven't talked to him personally, but I know Brett has been in contact with him. I've messaged with him on Slack. He was ready to walk away. And this is why car count is an important part of an important retention measure. Because when you're doing 5-7 cars a day, those employees, one, there's an uneasiness about it. Am I going to still have a job? I know that the store's not doing well. I know that we're not doing a ton of cars. Is my job secure? When we pumped out this 147 car first week, Don had this new life built into him, and it elevated the entire staff. And one thing I know for sure, because I got to know Tamlin over the past couple of years, is she has the same values as I do. She has the same values as all of you do. She very much instills the kindness part of this business model. So I know that Dawn had been taught those things, but it's very, very hard on a day in, day out business, on a day in, day out operation to keep that level up when you're not doing that many cars. And so as a matter of employee retention, these specials are a way of invigorating the employee base. So we get to that first week taking ownership. We have that 147 ticket average. Obviously, there's the ad had not fully penetrated. We put up a $10,000 gross sales number. We put up a $7,800 total sales. We go to 155. Discounts ramp up because the ad is penetrating more. So we stay at 788, even though we did 9 cars more. But we are now in a position where the car count is starting to become a real constant thing. Week 3, 185, crushed it. We did 9,500 in sales, 15,000 in total sales, and then this past week we did 200 cars in the week, all-time new record by a multiple of 3 almost, and we're talking about 17,500 in gross sales, which if you extrapolate that number out, even take it down a notch to like say 13, 14, 15, we're talking about an $800,000 a year store. Or if we want to use the actual number, which is nearly $10,000, the easy math, obviously 52 times 10 is a $520,000 a year store. We put $1,000 behind a Facebook ad. We boosted it. We targeted several different strategic areas. Again, please reference the other video we posted today on Meta, Advantage Creative, Advantage Audience, and that ad, that video. This store, same population, same staff. The only thing that changed was our marketing strategy. We went from an all-time high in week 15 of 79 cars to an all-time high of 200 cars in 1 week. And the only thing we changed, because it was the same staff then too. Dawn has been the manager for a while. Same uniforms, same signage, same Facebook page, same Google My Business page. The only thing we did was we ran an ad, we put a little bit of money behind it, and we drove customers in, and we told the staff, please operate the store within the bounds of our flow chart. Be kind, do a little side chat, do a little side conversation, connect with them on a human level. And it took no time at all to get to a 200 car week. Will it continue on this trend? Well, there's going to be a ceiling. Anytime there's a market that has a declining population or a sub 100,000 person population, there is a ceiling on that population. There's a ceiling on that car count because there's only so many cars. That being said, North for Sales, 3 mile radius. The town of North for Sales, 30,000 people, 3 mile radius is a hair under 46. They did 1,300 plus cars in the month of June. It's on pace to, it did over 101,000. It was like 110,000 in gross sales for the month of June. 110,000 just the month of June. Can't stress this enough. If you are worried about car count, you need to take Facebook ads seriously. You do not need to spend money on anything else. This is what will drive cars into your store. Hawkeye was one of the worst mistakes I allowed to happen. It was in the very beginning of Michael's tenure of being a part of the system. Should never let it happen. It was a disaster. And, you know, we really need to get back to what built this company in the first place. So, super important. Thanks for your time. Any questions, reach out to me personally, email me, whatever you'd like. More than happy to discuss.